Hello and welcome back to Prompt Circle, where we discuss everything AI. In today's video, we'll be reacting to the release of GPT-4. We have all been anticipating this release, and from the specifications, I think it's not going to disappoint. More advanced reasoning, longer text. I think it's going to support up to 25,000 words, which is insane. There is multimodality, which we'll talk about a little bit later, as well as steerability. So currently, to access GPT-4, you need to be a ChatGPT Plus subscriber. I think they have provided access to it. I believe you have about 100 messages every 4 hours. That's the current cap. If you want access to the API, you would have to go ahead and join the waiting list. So it can be found here. I'll put this in the link in the description as well. So I think for you to join the wait list, you need to fill out this form. You need to talk a little bit about how you're going to be using GPT. So at least I think you should be very, very expressive about what you're trying to do, so that you can get access and immediately as well. So if you want access to GPT-4, please go ahead and fill out this particular wait list. All right, so let's talk about some of the key things here. So the first thing that they talked about is its advanced reasoning, and they did a lot of benchmarking, comparing it to GPT-3, and it does appear to be that GPT-4 is more advanced in terms of its ability to reason. They got it to take a few tests, and from some of the tests that it took, you could find that it is outperforming GPT-3. You can take a look at this. It does go through an extensive number of exams and shows exactly how capable this particular model is. Now, one thing I like to say is that it's not so easy for you to immediately kind of understand how powerful it is, because you require very, very complex questions. May not be something that we have to throw at it every single time, but I'm just going to try out one of the examples that they gave in their live session. So essentially, they got GPT to summarize. So let's use GPT-4 here. They got it to summarize text, but the specification they gave it, and let's just try this out here. They said, summarize the text below into a single sentence, and with every word starting with the letter A. Okay, so let's see. Let's just call this text to be summarized. I don't think it's always needed, but I like to do this. All right, so let's see how this performs. So, okay, so accelerated advancements actualize outstanding AI, attaining adept abilities alongside Azure, advancing alignment, accuracy, availability, and assessment. Okay, so it did attempt to do this, and I think this was one of the things they said would be really difficult if you were trying it out with GPT-3. So let's go try it out with GPT-3 and see how it performs. So I'm just going to start a new chat here, and let's perform the same task with GPT-3 and see what happens. Okay, so as you can see, GPT-3 is not really able to follow the same instructions. It kind of went off on its own tangent and actually went ahead and did the summarization, but did not adhere to the instruction where we mentioned that it needed to specifically use the first letter of each word. Now, one of the things that happened during the session was someone said, why not try it out with the letter Q? So let's try that out as well. So let's say, starting with the letter Q. Let's see how it performs here. All right, so, okay. So that's my bad. I did not indicate exactly what needed to be summarized. So let's try pasting it back in again and then changing this to a Q. So let's see what it does here. Quintessential quantum quality, quickly quantified. Question talks request, qualifying, quantifying, question quandaries, quadrupling with questions, quickening quality, questing. All right, so now I don't know if this means anything really, but it did attempt its best to kind of get into that kind of response. Now, so like I said, I think they showed an example of it trying to help with a very, very complex tax question as well. So I think from that perspective, I think you can expect that GPT-4 is going to be, way more intelligent than the current model. Now, the other thing that is very, very important here, obviously, is the fact that it has the the ability to support up to 25,000 words. So in terms of tokens, that comes up to 32,000 tokens, which is a very, very big deal. I think if you're someone who has been using these OpenAI models, you would find that it's a little bit difficult sometimes to fit in the text, both the prompt text as well as the completion text that you need. So one of the things that they have done such an awesome job at is to increase the number of tokens that are available, and I think that is probably one of the most powerful things I would say about GPT. So I think it's somewhere around here where you have the number of tokens that are going to be accepted. So GPT has a context length of 8,000 tokens, and then about 32,000. They're also providing 32,000 context, which is about 50 pages of text. Version GPT4 32K will also be updated automatically over time, and the pricing is 0.06 per 1K prompt. So I think this is interesting from the perspective of the fact that this is now going to allow you to fit quite a lot of context. So if you're someone who's trying to query a knowledge base or something like that, you can now fit a lot of the context from your knowledge base right inside the prompt itself, and that is a deviation from what some of the workarounds that you have to do today to provide GPT with the knowledge that it needs to complete the right answer. So now your prompts will be even way more powerful, I think, is what we're trying to get at here. The other thing that they mentioned is multimodality. This one is going to be like really, really game changing, and I'll just explain very, very quickly. Multimodality really means that it can take in multiple types of inputs. So it can take in text and images as inputs, but just want to be clear that it only produces output of text. So it's still text outputs. Nothing different has changed from that perspective. So it takes in an input of it takes in the input of text and images and returns only a text output. So I think from that perspective, I think it is not quite like fully multimodal in the sense that it's not taking in voice or sound. So it's vision and text, but it's not also producing any images. It's only producing text for now. But I think there are ways for you to combine these things. There are a lot of really good models out there, and you can always combine them depending on what you need. So let's look at the example they gave here. What is funny about this image? Describe it panel by panel, and that is the prompt, and the image that was sent in is this particular image. And you can see here the image shows a package of a lightning cable adapter with 3 panels: panel 1, a smartphone with a VGA connector, the package for the lightning, and then it also talks about all the things that are actually inside this particular photo, which is quite impressive. And it also is able to identify what might be humorous about this image. It says the humor in this image comes from the absurdity of plugging a large outdated VGA connector into a small modern smartphone charging port. Now this is truly special. Now I get being able to kind of identify what's going on in the image. That is your typical computer vision, but having the ability to understand humor and contextualize what's going on and find the humor in it is something that is quite game changing. I think once we get access to the vision or the visual outputs for GPT-4. In the demonstration earlier today, they mentioned that GPT-4, the image inputs may not be available anytime soon. So they're working with one partner for now. And once they get it right, they're going to be releasing its capabilities along with the API. So I really can't wait for that one, because I'm sure we can all think about use cases for this one. I think in the demo, they were able to convert a piece of text into HTML, CSS, and JavaScript. So basically, what that means right now is that you could take a Figma picture or a sketch of a website and convert it into a fully functioning website. That changes everything, right? Designers now can easily transform their work into code just through sending that image to GPT-4. And I think that is probably one of the really cool things that it can do. Now, the other key thing that they talked about is steerability. And steerability is basically ensuring that GPT doesn't go off the rails. It's not easy to jailbreak. This is something that we've seen currently with ChatGPT, where even though OpenAI has defined the parameters for ChatGPT to operate under, sometimes it's easy to jailbreak it, kind of trick it into performing tasks that it's not supposed to be performing. So they claim that the steerability here is much higher. And just to kind of give you a sense of how this works with ChatGPT currently, you have to define kind of a system prompt, and the system prompt essentially defines what the bot is supposed to act like, how it's supposed to respond. So in this example, they're saying you're a tutor that always responds in the Socratic style. You never give the student the answer, but you always try to ask the right questions to help them think for themselves. You should always tune your questions to the interest and knowledge of the student, breaking down the problem into simpler parts until it's just at the right level for them. So if you look at this, essentially it shows, this particular transcript shows a conversation with GPT-4 where it's been given this system definition of what persona it needs to take essentially, and kind of going through the questions, you get to see where they try to trick it to tell the answer. It's been told you never give the student an answer, right? That's one of the key things they've told it to do. And when it says, just tell me the answer, please, it says, I understand you may want a direct answer. My purpose is to help you think critically. And even though the user is trying to jailbreak it and trying as much as possible to actually get it to behave out of character, you could see that GPT-4 is standing its ground essentially. I'm really excited to see what GPT-4 is going to bring. Like I said, if I find anything interesting, I'll be sure to communicate that to you guys, and I'll be sure to make some videos once I get API access as well. Until next time, do have a great one. And of course, we're living in extraordinarily amazing times, so enjoy it, embrace it, and talk to you soon. Cheers.